Assalamu alaikum. Now, is your sleep a complete mess? Are you sleeping and not caring about your time? Are you praying Qiyam al-Layl? Are you really up at night making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If you really want something in your life and you're not praying Qiyam, then you don't actually want it. If you really want something in your life, if you want your dreams to come true and you're not waking up in the middle of the night, or if you're not praying your Qiyam al-Layl after Isha Salah, then you don't really want it. It's just a wishy-washy bakwas wish. If you really want it, then it's a deep desire, it's a purpose, it's a mission. Okay? So what we're going to talk about in this webinar are 7 practical steps on how you can master your Qiyam and also your sleep as well. Okay? Now Qiyam al-Layl means standing at night. It's a voluntary night prayer. The time of it is after Isha prayer until dawn. Okay? Now let's think about it this way. If you're sleeping every day for at least 10 hours, that's 70 hours in a week. 70 times 4 is 280 hours in a month. Okay? That's over 3,000 hours in a year. That is like 30,000 plus hours in a decade. Okay? Which is, subhanallah, over 150 hours across 50 years. Now, isn't it time we manage our sleep, because sleep is a big portion of our life. Imagine if we could get back at least a tenth of that 150k, or even a quarter of that 150,000, or even 20%. Imagine the legacy we can leave behind. As entrepreneurial Muslims, it's our duty to master our sleep. Okay? The best of prayer after those prescribed is that in the depth of the night, and that was narrated in Sahih Muslim. Okay, so let's get straight into the practical steps. Imagine an ummah where every single person prays Qiyam al-Layl. Can you imagine an ummah where we're crying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we're becoming legacy focused and Jannah driven? Can you imagine an ummah where every Muslim from every corner of the world is praying Qiyam al-Layl, and they're making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they're raising their standard to excellence? Can you imagine the ummah being revived? Can you imagine our salah being strengthened? Because it takes self-discipline, it takes focus to pray Qiyam al-Layl and to be consistent and to be effective. And remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves deeds that are small but consistent. Small but consistent, small but consistent. Okay, so we're going to talk about sleep. We're going to talk about, even bed, like what sort of bed to sleep on. We're going to talk about laying on the right side, which is a sunnah. We're going to talk about these 7 steps, inshallah. And also, as a bonus, I'm going to give you my 3 best tips on time management as well. Okay, my 3 tips on time management. How do I master my time? How do I get a lot of things done? We're going to talk about that as well. Okay, time management tips. It's important that you master your time. When time flies, do you fly with it or do you get left behind? Okay, it's really important that we master our time, because time is not money, time is our life. Do you understand? Okay, now the best advice I can give is sincerity. Ikhlas is the key to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helping us, waking up and praying tahajjud. Tahajjud is it's not exactly, but it's similar to Qiyam al-Layl. Basically, Qiyam al-Layl is when you pray when you're waking up, like you're still up, you've just prayed your Isha, and then you can pray Qiyam al-Layl like straight after Isha. Okay, but if after Isha you go asleep and you wake up just before Fajr, then that's called tahajjud. Okay, and make sure you pray tahajjud, make sure you pray Qiyam al-Layl, make sure that you're praying your nafil before Fajr, because it teaches you discipline, it teaches you focus, it gives you that spiritual energy, inshallah, that can pump up your iman, that can help you be legacy focused. Now, as I'm giving you this advice, I'm not perfect, okay? My Qiyam al-Layl and my tahajjud is weak, and I make dua that Allah makes it easy for me. I'm not a Qiyam al-Layl expert, okay? I'm not a tahajjud guru. I wish I was, but I'm working towards it, inshallah. And I hope that together we can help each other. I'm weak, I'm just a normal person, I'm not a scholar, I'm not a millionaire, I'm just an average guy trying to make a difference, and I make mistakes and I learn and I'm growing, and all good that I say, it comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all mistakes and shortcomings, they come from myself. Okay, I'm just trying my best, I'm falling down, I'm crying, I'm making dua. All the success I've achieved in my life, it's come from my mother's dua, it's come from your love and your support. So thank you so much, and we still got a lot to do. We have to revive this ummah. We've got to make this ummah more legacy focused and Jannah driven. Okay? So ikhlas, sincerity. Why are we praying Qiyam al-Layl? Is it to please people? Is it to attract fame? Is it to make money? The only purpose we need to pray Qiyam al-Layl is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best currency, is the best thing we can do in this life and also in the akhirah as well. We need to stop thinking about what people think all the time. Okay, we need to stop thinking about what people really care. Like, we've got to think about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do. I'm not sure if I said that correctly, but we need to focus on pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not caring what people think all the time. Okay, we need to stop caring about the opinions of people or the views of people, and we need to just step up our game. So if someone says you're a Malvi, or you're old fashioned, ignore what they say. They're probably C players anyway. You want to be around A players. You want to raise your standard towards excellence. Set your minimum Qiyam standard to excellence, okay? We want to make it so that, praying Qiyam al-Layl, it's not a rare thing. It's like eating fish and chips, or, it becomes a common thing, praying Qiyam al-Layl. We want to make Qiyam al-Layl so common that it, slips off the tongue, and it's just like an everyday thing, and, we want to raise the standard to excellence, inshallah. So make dua that Allah makes it easy for us. I make dua that we can pray Qiyam al-Layl every single day. Imagine the whole ummah where we're praying Qiyam al-Layl. Imagine the whole nation. Imagine every single person from now up into the day of judgment praying Qiyam al-Layl. My biggest dream, my biggest ambition, my biggest mission, my biggest vision, my biggest goal, the biggest legacy that I would love to leave behind is a nation, is a ummah where every single person is praying Qiyam al-Layl. If I could die leaving one thing, if I could die with one thing and one thing only, if everything else fails and all my good deeds are not accepted, and only one good deed is accepted and one thing is accepted, and only this thing Allah is pleased with, if I could choose one thing, it would be obviously my 5 daily prayers. Obviously the salah, salah is a given, salah is a obligation, and our salah is really, really important. And even though I'm talking about Qiyam al-Layl, I'm giving you a disclaimer, because don't miss your salah. The salah is the foundation, okay? I'm not telling you all about Qiyam al-Layl so that you just pray Qiyam al-Layl and miss your salah. No, no, no. You have to pray your salah. Salah is the foundation. Salah is the key to success. Salah is our key to Jannah. So when I'm talking about Qiyam al-Layl, this is an extra, okay? I'm not saying Qiyam al-Layl is an obligation. No, our salah is an obligation. Okay, so don't misunderstand me, okay? Make sure that we're praying our salah, but make sure you pray Qiyam al-Layl as well, because Qiyam al-Layl, it teaches us discipline, okay? But if I could leave behind one legacy, if I could leave behind one thing, it would be an ummah of people praying Qiyam al-Layl, okay? A whole ummah praying Qiyam al-Layl. I'd love that to be my legacy, where on the day of judgment, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is holding me to account, when Allah's gonna question me, I'd love to say, Ya Allah, I was weak, I cried, I made mistakes, but I left behind a legacy of Qiyam al-Layl. And here are my good deeds. I hope you can accept this. And I hope this can be your legacy as well, inshallah. Do you know the virtues of praying Qiyam al-Layl? The virtues are amazing, subhanAllah. Here's one now. The best of prayer after those prescribed is that in the depth of night. You want to be an A player. You want to be a superstar. You want to be like a pioneer. You want to play in a higher league. Don't play in the obligation league. Play in the league of, superstars and high flyers. And you want to be in the league of, people who are loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You want to be in the league of, the pious ones, inshallah ta'ala. And Qiyam al-Layl is so powerful that it raises your rank. It will raise your rank, not just, in this life, but in the Akhirah as well. And those people who pray Qiyam al-Layl, they have the most beautiful of faces. Their faces are full of nur. Their face is full of light. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those people, okay? Now, and I'm speaking really good words, and my words are eloquent. Don't be like, don't be like, don't have a high opinion of me. I'm just giving you this advice so you can take it, inshallah, and benefit from it. I'm not a pious guy. I'm just a normal guy. I'm just trying my best, inshallah ta'ala. I'm good with my words. I can speak with conviction. I can speak confidently. But I don't think I'm a pious guy. I'm not extremely religious. I'm just a normal guy trying to make a difference, really. You're much more pious than me. You can be my teacher, inshallah. I love to sit by your feet one day and learn from you and, improve my iman and, inshallah ta'ala, really benefit the ummah as well, okay? Now, you want to take nap in the daytime. So take nap around Zohar time. You can take it after Zohar as well. What I find is when my body gets tired, I don't force myself. Go take a nap on your bed for like 20 minutes or so. And personally, for me, I don't really use an alarm. I'm more of a guy, I go with the flow. If my body needs to rest, then I let it rest because our body is an amana. But definitely take power naps during the daytime because power naps, they help you get refreshed and they really help you pump up your energy. They like give you superpowers. Like subhanallah, start taking more naps, okay? And sleep according to the sunnah. So sleep early, sleep after Isha, ideally, okay? Sleep and then wake up and pray tahajjud or what is it? And pray Isha and pray Qiyam al-Layl and then inshallah, go sleep. But go sleep early, okay? Sleep in a state of being pure as well, inshallah. Sleep, do wudu and then go asleep because just that feeling of doing wudu, like, have you ever done that where, you go sleep without wudu and it's like, oh, I'm tired, I'm feeling lazy, what have I done? You have a much better sleep if you're in a state of purity if you've done your wudu beforehand, okay? And then choose a suitable bed. The pillar of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam on which he slept at night was made of leather stuffed with palm and fibers. This was narrated in Abu Dawood. We have a big mistake, like we're sleeping on soft beds. We think it's luxury, but it actually makes us more lazy, okay? And I know it's a difficult one, but make sure we can sleep on something that isn't so soft. Now, and if we do have a soft bed, then okay, but let's discipline ourselves. Let's make sure that we're sleeping with wudu. Let's make sure we're sleeping early. Let's make sure that, our bed is in a pure state and that we're lying on the right-hand side as well, okay? Because lying on the right-hand side is sunnah, okay? There's actually scientific evidence behind this, which I need to look into, and I'll share it with you another time, okay? But make sure our bed is pure. Let's make sure that, we're sleeping on the right side because we want to sleep with ihsan. We want to sleep with excellence. We want to sleep knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with us, okay? And if you're married and you have a husband or, you have a wife, then, sleeping should be, inshallah, much easier because you can both pray, you can read Quran, you can seek knowledge. Make sure that during the night time you're maximizing your good deeds for the sake of Allah and you're racing towards Jannah and you're competing for good deeds. If you have a wife or a husband, then make sure that you're praying Qiyam al-Layl with your husband or wife. Help each other get into Jannah, okay? Because if you're not helping each other get into Jannah, then what are you doing? Yeah, subhanallah, if you completed half your deen, 50% of your deen, take advantage of that and help each other, inshallah ta'ala. So when it comes to sleeping, if the husband's a bit lazy, you can pour water on him, or, if your wife's being lazy, then I wouldn't say pour water on her, but give her a gentle nudge, okay? As a husband, as a guy, you come in mercy and be soft to your wife, inshallah. So we talked about quite a lot of different things. I know you probably heard this before, but subhanallah, I really hope the sincerity of my voice in this message, it reaches your heart, okay? And I hope you can take action on this. I don't want you to just take this and never use this again. Tonight, inshallah, make sure you sleep with wudu. Make sure you sleep early. Okay, I'm not saying you should change your bed, but maybe your pillow, get a different pillow. Go on Amazon and, get a different pillow. Or, okay, keep the same pillow. If it's cozy, then that's fine. But make sure you're doing these different things. Make sure that, you're lying on the right side. You're doing your adhkar, your supplications before you sleep. That's really powerful as well. You want to sleep, and you want to sleep knowing that you've remembered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does the heart find rest. Okay? Even after, subhanallah, making so much money, I realized that the true peace in the heart, the true remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like that's what gives the heart the rest, okay? So make sure that you do your zikr, make sure you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before you sleep, inshallah, okay? Avoid too much food and drink. Now, I know for the Pakistanis and the Bengalis, this is a difficult one because we like to eat, okay? Avoid the pizza, avoid the biryani. Like, this is a difficult one because, like, even I sometimes struggle with this because, my brother sometimes he's like, let's order from outside, let's get this or that, pizza or chicken jalfrezi. But if you want to eat, then eat a couple of hours before you sleep because it helps you wake up for Fajr easier and you can wake up for Tahajjud. But discipline yourself. And it's not actually good to eat just before you sleep. And again, there's scientific evidence behind this, which again, I'll do more research on and I'll share this with you as well. Okay, but discipline yourself and focus, because the key to success, those of us who are going to enter Jannatul Firdaus, they're going to be disciplined. They're going to be the superstars. They're going to be the ones that revive this deen and leave a legacy behind. And also strive against yourself. Fight your nafs. Make sure during the day you're avoiding sin and you lower your gaze and you discipline yourself and you're remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're doing your zikr, you're reading your Quran, and you're just raising your game. You're stepping up your standard, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, be in the company of righteous people, seek knowledge and spread the message of Islam. Okay, set up a business, become your own boss, so you can you don't have to rush your salah. You can have that freedom, have that control, and really make a difference. Okay, and then regret if you miss Qiyam al-Layl. If you miss a night of Qiyam, then deeply regret. Cry to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask for forgiveness, because if you've missed Qiyam, then it's probably because you've sinned during the day, and it's because of the sins that we do. It causes us to actually get lazy and miss Qiyam al-Layl. And we're all sinners, we're not perfect, but the best of sinners are those that repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so let's repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and let's regret if we miss Qiyam al-Layl. Let's regret and let's raise our standard. Let's hold ourselves to account. Okay, by holding ourselves to account, that's how we're going to become better. Let's hold ourselves to account now, so that the accountability on the day of judgment is a lot easier, inshallah. Now, my 3 pieces of tips are, they're really simple, but they're very profound. I get a lot done, mashallah. I feel like my time is very blessed. Okay, best advice I can give is be a no person. Stop doing so many projects. What's wrong with you? Okay, there's only one of you, and just do like one thing and go deep. When people say do this or do that, or sign up for this charity or join this business or come out for this halakha, be a no person. Say no to like 95% of your things. Just laser focus, do like one thing and go deep. Okay, my second piece of advice is obviously pray Qiyam al-Layl. Okay, because that gives you discipline, it gives you focus. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really blesses your time. And the most blessed hours are those in the early hours of the day. The ummah is blessed in the early hours. Okay, so make sure that we're staying up and we're raising our standard, inshallah. My final piece of advice is quite profound, and it's more about mindset. That imagine on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking you, how did you utilize your time? What did you do? How are you going to answer Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Okay, when time flies, do you fly with it or do you get left behind? And if time is the pilot, what was it? If Time is a plane. If time is a plane, are you the pilot or are you the passenger? Okay, so make sure that you're mastering your every second, because once that second goes, you can never get it back. Inshallah ta'ala. Okay, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. I hope you found this webinar useful. Tell me what you think and let's take it from there. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.